Hello! I'm allowed to be late to my own stream. Haha. You know. Despite having, like, all of this, I still don't feel ready enough. So, this is the time. Oh, do I have that one in there? Ooh, wrong one. Okay, I'm gonna have to quickly fix something when we go onto our screen. Should I get rid of this? Okay. It's a time. I'm worried. It's a lot. It's gonna be fun though. I am excited. This is gonna be jank as fuck, but I'm here for it. So, hello, welcome. I hope everybody's had a good Saturday so far. We is here in the thing, and the thing is happening. I'm gonna quickly close the stuff that I don't need open so that I don't accidentally, you know, do things. Because knowing me, Jeebus, I'm gonna end up doing something. And that's just the way it is. But yet, I hope everybody's doing good. I'm just making sure I have all the things I need open. Blah blah blah. There we go. So I think I'm ready. God, this is so terrifying. The end of things. It's scary. But before I do any of the blah blah blah, because I'm good at rambles, for the last time, I guess, let's do our little intro thingy thing. So, throughout the session we are going to be having our casual roaming background music made by Kevin MacLeod, who does the a bunch of music through Roll20, through a subsection called Incompetech. In my About Me section in Twitch, there's a Google Doc linked with all of the songs and stuff that I have listened to and collated into playlists. The rules don't really have effect here, so we're going to skip that. This is going to massively be an effect, which I will show you guys properly. I want to give a massive thank you to Nebulous Kiwi, who has done the amazing character icons from the very beginning. Thank you to them, massive preach. If you want to check them out, type in !DND icons. I will actually show you, or I have like a loop of all of the actual icons and stuff. Two of the icons were a Picro made by Maria Blowers, who is also in the Preach as well. So Finch and Raidens were made through that, so thank you to them. And one icon that you will see from the very beginning days of Kian, that was made by Wallflowered. So it was a original commission that he got done for that character, so gotta appreciate if we're showing it on stream. So yeah. The maps that we have used from the beginning have been from the Reclusive Cartographer and Go Adventure maps, Big Preach. I will be continuing to use them and hopefully find some more dope maps for the next session for y'all. No, next game. That's scary. And you will probably be learning who plays who when we go into all of this Epilogue shenanigans. So, yeah. Also a little thing, if you type in !emotions consume, all one word, you will get a synopsis of this campaign. There will be no, actually I need to turn that off. Oh, I forgot! I'm going to quickly turn off the character inspiration, because we currently are not actually playing a session. So, give me one moment before I fucking forget. because knowing me, I did forget. So, channel points, channel pressures. Sorry, just gonna quickly turn that one off. So yeah, there are no inspiration for this last little session. We will still be taking a little break, and probably just for a little bit less. We'll see how time goes. But yeah, we'll get through some stuff, and then yeah, we'll be doing some some things. But alright, let's jump in with our people, and let's switch over to some casual roaming.
That's
Hello.
hello.
Oh, I turned all the sound off. Haha, good job. Jeebus. So,
Opposite of the problem, usually.
sometimes. So let me quickly fix this, because that was a thing that I was talking about. Don't worry, we fix things live. I also have one more to add on here. So at the moment it's just random. I just need to find these two. Yep. Add those ones in as well. No! There we go. Okay, what I think it's going to actually do is it's probably going to make Kian's one bigger, now that I realise. Because Kian's one is a different size to the rest of them. Thanks, Hayden. No, I'm kidding. He's all good. There we go. So I will explain properly who all those people are, but it's just going to be cycling through all of the icons and stuff that have been throughout the campaign. But first of all, hi guys.
Hi.
It's a thing. Turn that up a bit. Can you tell that I'm totally fucking prepared and ready for this?
I mean, you've only had like an entire campaign to get to prepare for the end of it, so.
Absolutely.
Who knows what we were going to do by the end of it, though?
I mean,
Amelia's was pretty obvious. Die.
Yeah. I assume she would have actually just been like totally dead.
I have a really funny thing that I will actually tell you guys soon, based on the final rolls and the reason that Raiden actually died. So, what we'll start off with doing is go through the last session notes, because we gotta preach those. So, Jesus. 47. So, nestled in tar vines, a pulsating egg raises up from behind the Dolra's splittered corpse. A red-clawed hand punches out, followed by the rest of a fiend. Amelia knows that this is the Lord of Hell, Mephistopheles. Raiden steps back. Was he that big the last time we saw him? Finch, no. Effie welcomes Raiden and Finch, and it turns out that Celeste had made a deal with him. I will properly explain that later. He remembers Raiden was a problem and disappears him pretty much immediately, while anticipating Finch's counterspell. Amelia, as always, talks some shit, which we love. Attacking begins and Finch teleports underneath the tree's branches. Amelia gets charmed, attacking Viconia, and Raiden pops back in after being sent into a maze by Mephistopheles' feet. Nerol dispels the charm on Amelia, who immediately just starts talking some crap again. There we go. There's Kian's one, which is out. Don't worry, I'll fix it later. The people that are within the bark of the tree are crying and insulted by what has been done to their tree and the sect. To heal the tree takes someone pure, and Finch isn't too sure that he alone is enough. So, I keep like reading and then I look away and then I forget where I am. Finch starts attacking the dark roots, which does hurt Mephistopheles. He stomps towards Finch, who survives a banishment by seeing the sect as his new home plane. He then squishes Finch and burns to death on... What? Squishes Finch, burning the death ward. Ah, there we go. English is not with me today. I'm going to quickly turn that down. I feel like that's very loud. Begonia and Raiden play table tennis and get hurt while Nerol is revived by Kevin. Sumi fries a bush and then prods the dark roots as Raiden heals Finch up to full. Magical plants get invaded by the dark roots and are ignited to feed the tree. Finch does some sunbeam stuff on the roots, which Radiant seems to hurt the fiend quite a bit. Radiant then gets charmed by Mephistopheles and takes a hit at Amelia. And then when Finch is pretty low on health, he just completely power word kills Finch, wiping him from existence. And then he charms Raiden. He charms Raiden, and Raiden fails so hard at a swing that he hits Mephistopheles. Laconia starts hacking at the vines, and then Sumi dispels Raiden's charm. Invisible Nelia, I nearly said, is knocked out of the sky. Slowly, each of you guys start hacking at the roots, figuring out that it's doing a lot more radiant damage from your weapon, hurts Mephistopheles a bit more. Raiden gets disintegrated, Nerol gets Amelia back up, and then they both promptly go down. Laconia and Sumi suspect there is a heart point within the tree and is very vulnerable to the attack. Very vulnerable and need to attack it. Laconia hacks at the tree trunk trying to find it, while Sumi tries to uproot the whole thing with erupting earth, doing some really good damage. Sumi swims through the earth because that's totally normal. Laconia keeps attacking the tree and misses seeing Amelia get disintegrated. Laconia finally realizes people in the tree still have hearts, so attacking there is the way to go. She takes out 2 hearts, killing 2 people and massively hurting Mephistopheles, who now leaks the same tar that the tree does. Laconia then disappears through another maze spell that Mephistopheles has up his sleeve. I think I missed where... Nope, don't worry. I just can't read. Sumi pops up every now and again, like a bird submarine, to to check what's up on the land of the above, and sees Amelia is dust, and Nerol is probably going to be. They assume Laconia is still up and swinging, and goes to swim towards her and the tree. Laconia is stuck running through a maze as Mephistopheles starts to heal the damaged tree people and also himself. He also starts trying to dig around trying to find Sumi, knowing that he's around here somewhere. Laconia can't find the exit, pleading with the unhearing gods and pleading with Olabella and Kaz. Excuse me. Screw this. Laconia starts pulling apart the ground in the maze, cutting open a rift with her weapon. Hallow's Bane does snap, but she jumps in and reappears right where the tree and the fiend are, giving a hero's quip. Brooke wakes up her housemates with a scream as she finally succeeds on a luck check, and Vaconia retrieves Raiden's scythe. Sumi pops up and sees Vaconia and swims back towards her. Softly's... sorry. Paladin ends up raging as the attacks fail as Mistopheles hits at her exposed back. The spirits of Elia, Olabella, and Kaz interfere to take some of the damage, and Mistopheles doesn't like this at all. Vaconia attacks the tree people again, gutting one and damaging the other, and then cuts off the hand of the fiend, which is regenerating the tree, ending with a strike to the last heart. Mistopheles drops to the ground, breathing heavily. Vaconia spits in his face, and Sumi pops up, indicating towards the bubble encasing the fetal position creature within his chest. Mistopheles says that he always has the last word and tries to disintegrate Vaconia. Nerol's last gift of Death Ward comes into play. Yeah, I did miss it. I don't know when Nerol died. I think I skipped that somewhere, but Nerol did die.
Oh, no,
I
it's a great
I don't think I put the writing of it in there. Just like it was just a side thing at the time.
Just a side thing.
I mean,
How
he'd
dare.
been unconscious for most of it, and everyone else was pretty much disintegrated. It was just another one on the list. Can't remember where it was.
Another one bites the dust.
Hey.
Truly.
Nora's last gift of Death Ward comes into play as Vaconia stands in front of the Lord of the Nine Hells at 1 hit point, as it is her turn, and there is pure panic in Mistopheles' eyes. I get the last laugh, and then she rips the bubble and the being in half inside his chest. She then asks Sumi where everyone else is, and Sumi says that they're sorry. She rushes to where Amelia's dust is and where all her belongings are. She finds Voden's sending stone and pleads for help, and then spots the engagement ring. A preach happens. A portal opens up. That was really good timing. Portal opens up, and a bunch of relatives and closely known characters rush in. Voden immediately starts to organize everything for a true resurrection spell. Using the giant Tifa balls from the Chaos Hag and the Gal Soul, as they are the only gems with big enough value, and also probably the only ones that they can get within very short notice, as the diamonds required, I believe, are 25,000 for true resurrection. Then begins a hour and a half casting from the Zither, the current Zither sewer, who does the casting, and everyone for Amelia, Nerol, Finch and Raiden, just had to make sure, come through and give pretty much speeches about each of these people, trying with whatever they can to bring them back. The heart and soul gems are merged with the dust of each person. Amelia comes back first with a scar on her chest inlaid with garnet. Massive family hug, and Vaconia too, because she's now family. Voden lets out a sigh in relief that he didn't know he was holding. Nerol returns next with a scar of sapphire over one eye. As she sees her illusions above her, she blinks them away, sitting up. Vlondrel hugs her. And then it takes longer. This is where the remaining hour and a half part of the spell begins to take effect. The gems for the next two don't fully dissolve as a few more minutes pass. The heart gem then collapses and merges with Finch after the very long casting. Finch is curled into a ball, staring into space, a garnet scar marking his back as Finch breathes in and cries. His mother, the Zither, can't stop casting to hug him though, as Raiden hasn't come back yet. Another hour on top of that is casting, as it seems that Raiden is not coming back. Vilkelm goes to lunge at the Zither, but Gozchash stops him. Vilkelm breaking down, asking why did you stop? The Zither, just completely exhausted, asks one more thing of the three that have returned, asking if they can restore the Tree of Life. Sophie's body has crumbled into ash as Finch stands and walks over to the tree, putting a hand on the Zither's chest. Finch casts Daylight. He then begins to say how Amelia's love for the ocean is like the Dolorous connection to nature, and although the Dolora in the past has been bad, Amelia is not bad. She is inherently very, very good. Despite her sass, but we love her.
Despite the pranks.
He then goes on to say how Nerol understands people and keeps on giving and giving and caring for everybody, very similar to the Hapori. The figures within the tree glow as the tar burns away and the vines burn away, and the tree comes back to life. Finch is very thankful for the group coming to help. As you guys return to the material plane, it's raining, as there is the rumble of thunder and the flashes of lightning as Amelia goes to dance and play in the rain. A point that I really want to... two things, actually, which is really, like, I guess fitting, which I think is really funny. That session, very shortly after it began to rain in Palmy.
Oh, yeah, did too.
Yeah, and
That's funny.
yesterday, when I was walking home from work, it started raining, as one of the songs from Raiden's playlist started playing in my headphones. And I love that.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Now, a little thing I want to say about the roles that I did. The amount that each of you had to get was based on how many times that you had died. Plus 10.
I think you actually lightly mentioned that in passing.
Amelia's died like 10 times.
I think I counted it as 9. It was either 9 or 10, but you had to get a 19 or 20. Yeah. Nerol had only died once, so 18, she was fine. Finch has only ever died once, and Finch got an exactly an 11.
Oof.
Raiden has died 3 times, which is why he didn't
no.
come back, as he only rolled an 11.
Damn.
Yeah. So, with all of this, how we're going to go forward is I'll start with the, I guess, kind of passing NPCs, the ones that are not as important. We'll do a couple of those, and then I'll ask you guys for any memories or anything like that from the campaign that you liked or want to share. I have a couple from the second campaign because it gives a little bit of context towards Raiden and Finch. As well as just, I was reading through the session notes and I had to copy down some of the, like, best session note quotes, as well as there were some quotes that people put into the session notes that are just too good not to share. So I've got a few of them. So yeah, that's what I'll do. So we'll do kind of lesser NPC stuff, break for session note thingies, then we'll do and then we'll do wedding, and then a couple of other NPCs, and we'll leave you guys to... You guys are like the main NPCs, like Viconia, Finch, and Raiden, till last. So I guess can kind of start with what happens with the Deva weapons. So, even though Hallow's Bane was snapped in the maze spell, it still fell through the rift, even though it was broken. So, that was brought back as well as all of the other Deva weapons and armor to the catacombs. So, with each of the Deva souls also being combined with the armor and weapons, because each of you guys found halves of the Deva's souls. So, as a little bit of context for that. For which ones did you guys find? So for game 1, I don't remember who. Yes, I do. I have his written down. Ooh. Amelia, you found the Star Spar, which was the Deva of Lights one. Finn, who was Puggle, found the Titanite, which was the Deva of the Sea. Kian found Roseguardite, which was the Deva of Earth, and Viconia found Psychophanite, which was the Deva of the Darks. For the other game, do I still have that written down? No, I don't. Don't worry. But the other ones were, the other halves were called Thornzonite for Roseguardite, Sunspar for Starspar, Osanite for Titanite, and Burdenkronite for Psychophanite. So each of those came together to create the actual soul of the Deva. So each of those were then combined into your weapons to make them stronger. So you don't have to worry about them. So those were the things that woke up the Skekvarakt and the Merc Golem. So since those are no more, they can't be woken up again. You guys and Finch go into the catacombs and lay each weapon and armor in the assigned coffins. You guys go down to the floor 3 where there are each massive coffins, and put each of them in there before closing them. With the heart and soul gems being no more, as you guys use them to be brought back, there's no need for them to be laid to rest as well, as the next floor down is where they would be. Before teleporting away, Finch causes a massive cave-in to happen in the catacombs, making sure that they are completely unreachable to anyone before teleporting you all out. So no one will be able to go into those again. The anti-rebellion people that you guys had Ekros and Tibbs follow you guys for some armor ingredients. The main guy for that, Brydar, the half-orc man, he goes back to Carlisle and Fableland, as that's where it's from, rebuilding his butchery and growing older. He still remains close friends with the nobility of Carlisle, as he was the one that helped get them out. Helping them and the town rebuild after the attacks from the shores, and watching his daughter Seisha grow up, marry, and have children. Seisha, the Water girl, she grows up and older, living a happy and fulfilling life, finding a partner in her early 20s and getting married, before having 2 children with their partner, and before passing peacefully, and being noted that after Seisha's passing, there had never been another Water Genasi to be seen. Ekros, the one that you had done some fighting with, becomes the person that Saran teaches to be the next mage of Oranshire. They agree to move in, not having any real reason to stay in Carlisle, saying goodbye to their close allies and leaving to learn. And finally Tibbs, becoming a member of the Adventurers Guild through recommendations, immediately gets a Sentinel tier, which is a pretty reasonably high tier. And she lives out her life fighting to make sure that anyone steps out of line in a position of power is dealt with. You don't fuck with that werewolf girl. And we'll go to Voden. Voden makes a small group called the Relicaries. There we go. A small group of people that hunt down relics to find out what they are, break them if necessary, or hide them. So far it is himself, Pharaoh, Saran, and Volondril, and if you guys choose to, Nerol, Amelia, and Viconia are welcome to be a part of it. He also remains in the Archivist League to make sure to maintain strong connections with the mages, the nobility, and other Archivist Leagues, as well as the governing bodies of all the towns, to spot any weird activity. Voden specifically sees over Oscar, the Eightworth Isles, and Yeskate, and also shares Ukrainia, so those are the continents themselves. And even while doing all of these things, he still makes time for his partner, the two of them going to Tyrella's home orphanage and adding to their little family, adopting a little tabaxi girl called Emerald, which they nickname Emmy. Pharaoh spends the rest of their life doing similar to Voden. Through meeting, they became very close and decided that there shouldn't be such dangerous relics left for commoners to just find. They remain with the Archivist League and make sure to maintain stronger connections with the mages, nobility, other Archivist Leagues, and they oversee Skycore, the Tukola Archipelago, Fablin, and also share Ukrainia. Lastly, the two Royal Shift members that are alive. Lordak, Wild Leader. After serving time for the severe offence of murdering nobility, he serves 10 years in a high security prison, and does active, and is watched while doing so, service to repay and clean the ruined towns. After his sentence, he's recruited to a specified task force to ensure the people of Letov are being cared for, informed, as well as the nobility are being kept in line and remain unharmed. He serves his sentence without argument as he saw the error of his ways and admits to be an uninformed citizen. In a globally scrycasted event, he and Silurus publicly apologize and vow to protect the people of Letov. While serving in this task force, he also took to helping communities in any way that he could and offering his service to the reliquaries. It is a hard fucking word to say. Why did I do this to myself? Silurus, the wizard, before serving his sentence, spoke with Azuran and Zillus about the state of Magnite within Yeskate. He was able to show proof of trying to better his continent and was backed up by the children of the family, the noble family. Through this, he was able to face the Veras Vernale family and dethrone the current terrible nobles, their next heir being taken to the throne and slowly resolving the tension between the two of them and making Magnite as well as Yeskate better. He then served his 10 years in high security prison and did active while watched service to repay and clean ruined towns. Afterwards, he was recruited to the same task force as Lordak, as he took to this full time and gave over his title as the Mage of Yeskate, and gave this over to another bright and upcoming mage. So those are kind of the side guys. I'll leave Taria and the royal family for a sec. As are there any moments in the campaign that you thought were funny, anything like that? As I'll start with one from this campaign and the other one. The very first one I have written down was from session 7, which was when you adopted Wanda the Axebeak. And just from the session notes have, Wanda the Axebeak, go free. She runs off screaming, free! And I just love that so much.
I remember that.
It's so good. One of the first ones from game 2 was from session 13, where they did Truth or Dare on Latov's tallest mountain. That evening, the party stay up together while playing Truth or Dare, learning a few things about each other, like Raiden's first loves, Celeste's patron, and learned about Finch life through a story of interpretive dancing. So I thought that one was fun. Good time. God fucking damn it. Where did I put the other thing? I have a document of this.
One of mine was Amelia constantly killing fucking Yellow's little owl. Nocturne.
Nocturne, yeah.
But like, never on purpose, it was always completely on accident.
It took you guys so long to notice that I put Nocturne's background as target practice.
It was like, she's like never aiming for it, but always seemed to get the fucking little bird.
I mean,
or like when she shot Yellow in the back.
God.
That was funny.
Hell yeah. Yeah, what off the top of your head, you see?
Fact that Ian had this little, what was it, ferret or something?
Oh, the ferret, yeah.
And like, someone remembered it like the second session that I was playing Sumi, and that was the first time you'd remembered it since he pretty much created the character.
Mm-hmm.
And then you promptly completely forgot it again until I joined as Niril for the first time. And I reminded you that it existed as Kian was tied up on the chair.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. Bartholomew, his name was, and that was a session 0 thing from Kian.
Yep.
I
love when Sumi joined and started learning all the stuff about us. I was like,
God damn.
fuck are these people?
Yeah.
Oh my
God
God.
damn.
I don't think he changed that initial opinion from, like, throughout the entirety. I don't think you did anything to convince him that you were normal.
I did it like 10 times. There was no convincing him. No normal person dies like 10 times and it's still alive.
I think one of the very early things that Niril said from, like, her intro session, because I have them written down, under quotes to remember was, Niril asked, does your team need mental support? And then later on was, you're the last choice team, not the A team. I love that so much.
Yeah, if it was the A team, they probably would have, got through it a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. Also, a lot of the favourite lines from, like, session notes are from Ece and also from Kian. Hayden, sorry. God damn it. One of the first ones I have is, Yellow got giga slapped by a Wendigo. Oh no. Wendigo is hurt. Thanks, Hayden. And then the second one is, the speedrun is no longer glitchless, when you guys are falling down the hole. I just loved that. That was really good.
Oh my God.
Fucking hell. A little background info for two things. Was Celeste's connection to Mistopheles. Celeste was actually the character's name, which I found really funny. It was completely unintentional. So she started off being a fiend warlock, and when they got their first sword, which was Zoya, when she took the sword, Mistopheles was not happy and actually triggered her curse, and her curse was envy. So the the hand that was holding Zoya refused to let go, while the rest of her body was green and angry. So that was pretty much the only thing, like, keeping her partially herself. It did cause some very interesting party tension.
Hope you did.
Yeah. And also, I think I might have tweeted about this, I don't remember. But Raiden has Footloose, on his character playlist. And the reason why is during combat with the Bahir in the mines, Raiden is like hurting this thing immensely and ends up in this thing's mouth, and then it dangles him over some lava that's in the cave and just spits him out into the lava without him having anywhere to go except more lava. So Raiden's like legs are in the lava and he loses his foot. Hence Footloose. And yeah, a whole thing, and that it wasn't even the first time that he died. The first time he died was to a mind flare, as it ate his brain.
Is it the same mine that we closed later on?
Yep. Yeah. A kind of cool party thing that happened with that was when they try to revive him, they don't actually have... Actually, no, they can't even revive him. They didn't have diamonds. So Finch tries to contact Giovanni because Raiden is his Ganassi child. And because Raiden's curse is linked to his pride, and if he can't... Basically, if he can't win or be successful in things, he takes exhaustion.
Oh.
Yep. So if he doesn't have a foot and can't do things, his curse would have killed him. Because when you take so many exhaustion points, you just die. He draws Giovanni's symbol on the ground with ink, and it doesn't work. They ask Zoya how they can bring him back, and Celeste has to kill Raiden with it in order to bring him back. She has to slash at him multiple times, and as like hours pass without anything happening, they find that with the ink that Finch ends up kicking over, it had actually the only word I can think of is bled, is like it bled into a resurrection spell circle through something, and that was the only way that they were able to bring him back. But yeah, and now whenever I hear that song Footloose, it just makes me laugh because there's all of that.
It's very funny.
I'll do this part first, just because I know you're curious, Brooke. So, Olabella and Kaz, pretty much giving up their immortality to save Amelia and Taria, because the alternative for them being immortal was they could give that up at any point to become deities. That was Alexin's deal with him, Olabella. So their title becomes the Unconditionals. The domain looks over anything that is and can be absolute, wholehearted, unquestioning, and unlimited, as that's what they did. And as all that they did was entirely unconditional, especially in regarding to each other. So they oversee unconditional love, unconditional loyalty, unconditional trust, unconditional family, and unconditional bonds.
Just a lot.
Yeah, it's just basically unconditional and then those words. And there's more about them that I'll read at the very, very end. But Taria spends a lot of her time in the sect with Finch, as she is a druid. Loving that she can learn so much and also finding a very close relationship with Finch. Teaching him some of the druidic ways, and she also gets offered a trial to become the Harpori of the Nameless. She agrees and also gets Amelia's permission to take Greg with her, as Greg and Taria become partners, eventually getting married as well. Amelia and Taria remain in constant and close contact. The bond that the sect has between the two planes is so strong to the point that a branch of the nameless sect is rebuilt into the material plane once again. Azurin ends up taking the throne first as she falls for a beautiful Asimar woman from the Archivist League, Bibliosoph Nernal.
That's a name.
Bibliosoph is the title that she has within the Archivist League. Nernal is just her name.
Well, that's a hell of a name.
Yeah, not quite. So her name's just Nernal. Together they are crowned the Empresses of Latov and rule for their time, having 2 children and maintaining peace across Latov. Zealous does get his chance at the throne when Azurin steps down to look after her children and wife. The 2 twins having made decisions with each other throughout either ors, like ruling with anything in regards to Latov. Zealous does marry, as he finds a Kalashtar man and a half-orc woman who he falls head over heels in love with while travelling through Yesket. Together the 3 of them, Zealous, Togefi, which is the Kalashtar man, and Eleanor, the half-orc woman, as well as Azurin for final agreements, look over Latov until it's time to hand over to Amelia and Viconia.
Oh god, do you really want Amelia fucking ruling a fucking
She
world?
has the title, and Taria's doing something different.
That's true.
But also, it would be in a very long time.
Long
Yeah.
time. Wait, how long does Viconia live for?
There was a bunch of math that I didn't want to do, so she's alive.
She's already like 150 years old. We know she's gonna die first.
Oh yeah.
At this stage.
But she can. So her age in elf years is turned into what it would be for tiefling years. So she still has a way to go. So she's technically in human years, which is also similar to tiefling years, like in her early 30s, I think. And tieflings live till like 100, 150, so she's got a while.
She's got a while.
Yeah. Which brings us to the wedding of Amelia and Viconia.
It's a wedding.
Yeah.
Wedding.
So, how much do you have written about the wedding? Because I literally just have Viconia's vows.
See, like, I wrote a bunch, but, like, it's not even, like, the whole thing. I got up to, like, vows, and the vows, and then just stopped.
That's okay.
Because I was like, I've already got, like, a fuck ton.
That's totally fine.
Already.
So,
but it was more like a story than anything else, because that's the only way I know how to write shit.
Absolutely. That's all good.
Why don't you want me to read it?
Yeah. So, specifically about the wedding stuff, and then anything else that you have for Amelia's future, leave that till a bit later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wrote this like a story, so...
Hello.
Cool. It had been a year since the killing of the massive aquatic creatures, mostly because I forget what they're called.
That's fine.
A lot of things have happened since then. They returned the weapons and armor, and the rebuilding had begun. Everyone was on edge for a while, no one knowing if there was anything else lurking in the depths of the sea. And today was the day that Amelia and Viconia were getting married. I'm also paraphrasing this a lot.
That's good.
Usually weddings of royals were a big affair. All the nobility were invited and celebrations were had all around, but Amelia refused. She's like, no thanks, I don't feel like putting up an appearance today, and we're not putting Viconia through that either, because fuck that. And so they invited their closest friends and family, including like Nurul, Bowden, Sumi, anyone that had helped them really. Why is this being fucky? Okay, when it does this. I wrote all of this, but I don't want to say it all. So Amelia was standing in her bedroom. The ceremony was starting soon, and they chose to walk down one at a time. Zillis was going to walk Amelia down, and I have no idea who Viconia would choose.
Viconia will probably be standing at the end already. If you're being walked down.
I was gonna have both of them walk down one at a time, just because Funzy is indifferent.
Okay.
Why not?
She doesn't have family.
Close friend.
She would probably ask Neural then.
Here we go, Neural.
Yeah.
Neural would do it, but you guys did ask Neural to perform the ceremony.
Well, you could just walk it down and then be the person doing the ceremony as well. It's all good.
You just cast like duplicate on yourself. You just like
you just give her bring her down and then just walks around.
Yeah, for like half a second of introduction to her from herself to herself. She would be in just for that alone.
Honestly, please.
Okay, Neural's walking Viconia down and then starting the ceremony.
Okay.
Amelia's hair is down and it's curled. Her dress is a light blue and white. The underneath is like a blue satin, and the top layers are a mix of white and light blue tulle, and it is off the shoulders. There is an arch set up in the grounds of the Arozath Castle, right near the sea. It has sunflowers and seashells all over it, 'cause why the hell not?
Hell yeah.
They had some, nice violin music going, 'cause I don't know why I chose that. Amelia walks down first. Her brother leaving her at the end and sitting down, and she watches as Viconia comes down, and without knowing it, Amelia is crying because she is just so overjoyed. And when Viconia gets down to the end, they face each other, and in ceremony starts.
Okay.
And that's where I got to, other than the bells.
That's right.
Which is short.
So when Viconia is walking down, she is in a white dress that kind of curves up over her chest, and then the shoulders are kind of loose on her shoulders. The dress is long and reaches the ground with a slit right up one side that reaches the middle of her thigh on one leg. She isn't wearing shoes. She's pretty much in bare feet with these. They're pretty much like sandals, except they don't have the bottoms to them. And there's just a how do you describe this? I'm looking at a picture trying to describe it. And it's pretty much just some lacy stuff that has flowers and pearls in it as they kind of curl up her ankle a little bit.
That's really funny because I said Amelia was barefoot as well.
So that's her footwear. That is her dress. So.
That's as far as I go.
Yeah. Yeah, as she'll walk down, she does have a couple of pearls and lace and stuff from her horns and stuff, going across and into her hair, which is still tied up into a high ponytail. And yeah, as she meets you at the end, who do you want to do their vows first?
I don't know.
Roll for it. Roll a d20.
Roll a d20.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Fine for bonus dice.
14.
Alright. Gotta add some rollers in here. 3. You're going first.
Oh, okay. Okay, I got it. Wait, where is it? Fuck, that's not it. Okay. I mean, you're just gonna look Laconia in the eyes. And so... I never knew that the day that we woke up on the beach, me a little furrier than usual, that we would be standing here now. It wasn't the easiest journey, that's for sure. From curses to dead people walking, we had it cut out for us. Through it all, you stayed strong and cut down anyone who came in your way. Not once did you complain about what we had to do. You gave your life multiple times to help save the people of Latov. Sometimes we hit each other with our weapons, not on purpose, obviously. We somehow made it to our first day in these very gardens. A moment of peace and happiness in an otherwise horrible situation. Even when no one believed me, you did. I could never have asked for a better partner in this life. I cannot promise you that I won't die again, but hopefully this time it will be of old age after a happy and long life with you by my side.
Oh. Okay, now who's already holding your hands? Just takes a deep breath. How does she talk again? I was alone and angry and filled with a lot of regrets before I washed up on that shore with you all of those months ago. You cared so deeply and fought with everything that you had. It was terrifying sometimes. I've never been as close to someone or felt the way that I do about anyone like I do about you, Amelia. For the longest time, I believed that I was incapable of feeling those things, like growing up in the Shadowfell had taken any chance of positive emotion from me, and I was scared to fall for you. But when I let myself, it felt so nice and safe and natural, like it was always meant to be you. The fear I would get when you got closer to 9 was the most indescribable fear I've ever experienced. I was sure I was going to lose you, the only person that I had ever loved, and I was willing to give up everything, fight, anything to make sure that you never left. I could ramble for far, far too long about the roller coaster of emotions that you sent me through constantly. And she squeezes your hands. I just thank you. And I am the happiest that I have ever been. I feel stronger when I'm with you. And the endless years I would have spent as an elf, it would have been alone. So for whatever time I have left as a tiefling now, I'm so glad that I get to spend it with you. I love you, Amelia.
That's so cute.
I don't know what else happens at a wedding. You pull out weapons and start fighting. No,
They finish the ceremony, they go off and they have a party.
Hell yeah.
And then everyone goes home.
Yeah. Nerol finishes the rest of the ceremony. Why is that one doing a thing? Sorry.
Usually there's cake.
Here's all my cake. Please hold while I fix the fucking images, because apparently I'm a tool and did it wrong. There we go. Blech. There we go. Now I did it right. Halfway into the session. There we go. So the rest of the ceremony is had. Nerol doing the ceremony and casting the spell itself on the engagement rings, which were once I believe Kaz and Olabella's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exchange rings, vows, insert blah blah blah, and then you guys do party. And it is completely carefree, and once everyone kind of departs and stuff like that, you and Viconia are able to just chill and end up wandering around the gardens like you had on your first date, and eventually Viconia feeling comfortable enough to just jump in the water and start just kicking water at you, and just the two of you having a great time until the sun is far set. So you guys both becoming Arazath Ryder, as Ryder is Viconia's last name. And also I found that incredibly funny as I typed it out too. I was tempted to put it the other way, but for the fucking lols I had to put it that way.
That's too funny.
Viconia gets a rank upgrade from Apostle to the WCC. I don't remember what that stood for, but I know it is the most elite.
WCC.
I don't remember what it was. I couldn't
was this
find
in
out.
the Adventurers Guild?
Yeah. It was world class something, I'm pretty sure.
Champion?
Probably. Let's go with that.
Cock block.
World class cock block. Hell yeah. And she
World
gets
class class?
world class. No. She gets a new stained red and black badge. And Viconia spends a lot of her time in the orphanages and shrines, looking after children, and also tending to any of the shrines that she can, aiding those that have lost hope and given up on the faith that the deities are there and listening, and gives them the hope that they are there and listening and to keep believing. And that's Viconia. For Raiden, because he is no longer here, Calm and Goztash do go back to Dewhurst, where they're all from, and they make a statue for Raiden in the town centre. As the entire town of Dewhurst knew Raiden, as he made active efforts in his community to help all of them, especially in his younger years. Over time, Verkalm and Goztash are able to move on, and through their hardship, they find comfort in each other. In the years to come, there is never another child of Giovanni. I'll do Finches and then I'll pass it on to you guys properly. Actually, did you write stuff for Sumi? Yeah, I'll let you do Sumi. I'll let you talk.
Sumi hung around Finch for a while to help stabilize the sect of Feywild, but after feeling that rehabilitation of it was complete, or at least as much as they felt was complete, however long it is, I don't know, Sumi returned to Latov. On returning, they stopped on Voden, add another move to the chessboard, or finally handing back the last borrowed plain-tuned fork, the one that he was using for the Feywild.
Nice.
And then they headed back off home to their home forest in Fablian, wandering amongst the trees, following trails of disease and spores to help beleaguered populations where they could. The time between their visits to Voden slowly grow and grow further apart until finally Voden never sees them again. Probably many years down the path though. After a time, stories grow amongst the forest villagers of a helpful forest giant who emerges from trees during times of plague. It tries to help, and though whether the medicinal knowledge put to use works is very hit and miss, the comfort they bring is welcome. Keep in mind here that Sumi's entire knowledge is based on nothing at all in Latov, and follows the four humours of like 1000 AD back in medieval Europe.
Yeah.
developed entirely on his own. So the actual, what you said about the knowledge of disease coming from... Actually, no, that's a separate game that Sumi was in. Never mind that, scratch that.
Okay.
Earlier Sumi learnt something else which put him in that mindset.
Okay.
The comfort they bring is welcome. Eventually the rumour passes to other remote villages across all continents, near forests or not, and slowly morphs to tellings of the spirit of a friendly giant. And then that again later forms a myth around a diseased spirit that espouses rest and relaxation when ill. Whether the rumour followed an actual being is unknown.
I love that. That's so cool. Hell
Sort
yeah.
of disappears as a myth.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, right, I'm out.
Yeah.
Goodbye, people. Be nice, but goodbye.
To be fair, that's pretty much what his entire goal was from the word go.
Was to just disappear.
Just pop in, help out, doses.
Leave.
Yeah, I love it. That's awesome. So, Finch meets with you guys to do the catacomb stuff with the weapons. After that, he comes back to the material plane a fair few times to see his friends, but he does take over as Zither properly. Slowly rebuilding the sect with the help of Sumi, rebuilding the council as well as the trust of the people. He remains as Finch, deciding after so long being Finch, he'll remain that way. He gets to learn about his parents, how they met, and slowly get to put together pieces of his family. Though through rebuilding the sect and building connections to the courts that are willing to, Finch meets an Eladrin man from the Courts of Dusk called Jaith, marrying and building a family of their own. Once a shy boy from a port town in Northwich, scared of his future and of his past, now stands confident and strong looking out over a sect that he's rebuilt with his own hands. Heart heavy with those that he's lost, but strong having known them. And I don't think I've read surrounds. Whoops. I forgot to do that, sorry. So Saran becomes the Archmage of Latov. She's in constant contact with the Archivist League and the Latov nobilities, keeping them all updated on the happenings of Latov and keeping an eye out for relics with the new group of the Reliquaries, with Vodun and Pharaoh. In her spare time, she still teaches in the Oranshire Magic School, Permia, and she teaches a new successor for the Oranshire Mage Tower, which ends up being Ekros. Choosing to remain on her own, she looks to the sky when nights are dark, looking for the star she knows so well now. When it so subtly glimpses, she smiles knowing that her very first student has finally gone home. Safe and happy, she does sendings to Gallo sometimes, just to see if she'll get a reply. It's not until years later that she does. Elderly and feeble, with Selfie as her caretaker, she hears one night, "I'm okay, Saran. Thank you for everything." A little thing for Nerol before I ask you what Nerol goes on to do is if she does choose to stay within the Adventurers Guild, she too gets a rank upgrade to the WCC with getting a stained red and black badge, and if she chooses to, Azurin and Zillus give her the title of Royal Knight.
He's gonna deny both of those.
Absolutely, that's completely fair.
She's like, no thanks.
She's like, I'm done with the Royals. Kaz was
She's like,
enough.
"Leave me alone."
It's got nothing to do with that, but
That's absolutely fine. Okay, tell me what Neural does. Tell us.
Neural grows more and more morose after the fights with the gigantic creatures, having seen so many adventurers falling so easily, and then having those feelings nailed home in the paranoia and terror of the Feywild. She serves locally within Murstone for another year, taking no adventurer contracts, instead spending more time amongst the local guard populations. It doesn't help her mood, however. and after visits to the shrines of both Zinnia and Arya, travels back to her own village she originated from. There she acts as a part-time cleric for locals and travellers, but mostly enjoyed telling stories to the younger kids, embellishing them with artistic cantrips she picked up on her way. Still carries at least 2 weapons hidden on her person at all times. Some habits are hard to break.
Nice. Does she go on that trip with Felondril around the Eight Isles?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
That's
Yes,
okay.
she'll
Yeah. Yeah, he does show her around and gives her some warm clothes in preparation.
He has travelled there many, many times, specifically to the Shrine of Arya, though.
Yes, that is true.
So I think she's got her own clothes, although maybe he tries to gift her some, and then she's like, I've got like this full set back here, but
Yeah.
this is cool too.
yeah, that sounds very Felondril. But yeah, awesome. That's really cool. I love the teaching the children, showing them all the illusions and stuff. That's awesome. Fuck
She
yes.
picked every possible cantrip illusion, as well as a good number of spell-based illusions.
Hell yes.
And that was only possible due to the multi-classing.
Mm-hmm. Hell yes. Neural never hears the darker voice ever again. As a heads up, it pretty much just goes away completely. And
Did she hear anything from the undead patron? Because she did. As soon as she realized she received any gift from it, she refused to use any of its gift, and just did everything she could to sort of piss it off.
So the patron was the Garmorm, which was Gallows' patron.
Yeah.
And pretty much after the ancient things were dead, it was like, I don't care in what way you got rid of them, whether you use my powers or not. You got rid of them for me. Thanks. I'll leave you alone. Yeah. And Amelia, what does she do?
Well, she obviously she'll like start hanging around her older siblings a little bit to learn the ropes at some point and help them out. She'll visit Taria in the Feywild. She'll go with Viconia around, but she also will just walk around Mirstone. Sometimes helps teach the new guards that are coming in.
Yeah.
Just helps out more a bit in the community, and just kind of chills.
Yeah.
She's like, I deserve this. And she still pulls pranks on literally everyone.
Mm-hmm. With the help of her new little dragon friend.
Yes. She doesn't hate dragons so much anymore.
With said dragon thing, how many did I get? I got 4 from the session notes. With the tale of Amelia and dragons.
Oh no.
Hi. Hi, Dapper Gentle Monster. Welcome. The first one that I got down was that you, from session 13, where you hurl insults at the dragon in its own language, and you hurt its feeling and pisses it off. The dragon attacks you and you get downed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I died, didn't I?
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah.
The second one was Amelia gets slapped by 5 Hydra heads and fucking dies. That was the lost episode, which I'm so sad about. Out of all of the sessions, I only lost 1, and that was that one.
Oh no.
I know! Yeah. Next one was from session 34, where you try and talk to the dragon, you fail, and then you get bit, and then it attacks everybody. And the last one I have was from session 40, where you yell at a dragon and it approaches you, because dragons seem inherently opposed to Amelia's existence.
I loved writing everything about that.
Oh, it's so good.
Amelia failing.
Another thing which I noticed was really funny that came up quite a bit was Kian and unicorns.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
He always seemed to like
he summoned
make a unicorn appear.
Yeah.
It was either unicorns or rats.
It was just rats happened once. I mean,
Oh, I
rats
thought it
happened
happened
twice because his wild magic surge, shenanigans, which I do have written down. It happened 3 times. Once when it just does nothing and then it just disappears. The second time was when in the Hydra fight, it gets spawned, it heals Giallo enough for him to get up, and then runs up to the Hydra, goes to attack, misses, and then gets fucking stomped on. And the last time is in the shenanigans of the Feywild, not the Feywild, the time shenanigans in Kian Kafuckery.
The one where like a bunch of shit happened all at once.
Yeah.
The time where Yellow didn't even try looking for Kian that much and was literally
It was
under
below
him
him,
the whole time.
yeah, the whole time. In a very quick, how do you describe it? Commercial-like thing, here we go. I literally called this Time Shenanigans in Kian Kafuckery, the curious tale of many, many wild magic surges. So, it's just some of the funny ones. The rest of them I took out. But his hair falls out, manacles get hot and then burst into flames. He shouts when he speaks. There's a fog cloud around himself. 3 creatures take lightning damage. He polymorphs into a sheep. Butterflies and petals appear all around him. Mirror images, and now there's 4 sheep. He casts Fly on a random person. Kian becomes invisible. His size increases by 1. He is uninvisible and now potted plant. He teleports 20 feet and levitates. And then summons a unicorn. He can't speak as pink bubbles come out of his mouth. 6 cabbages appear. He's a plant again. His size decreases. He teleports 25 to the feet to the left with fire. 10 rats spawn and are hostile. The plant here changes colour. He has rabbit ears. He turns into an oak tree as the building gets shattered. He teleports and swaps places with someone. Kian is currently in the air, so the person falls from the sky as Kian teleports safely to the ground. Cue Wilhelm scream. He gets 4 years older. Fireworks go off from his hands and he lights stuff on fire. He gets trapped in an invisible hamster ball. The hamster ball then turns to gold. He then goes blind, and then his voice is gone, and then he disappears.
Whatever happened to Kian?
So, if you want to know what happened to Kian, he pretty much disappeared into the... Where did I end up putting him? I literally think he just teleported into the Overseer's realm. So he was just sitting there,
He's just chilling there,
He's
waiting for
chilling there.
someone to come get him.
pretty much. Kian's whole thing
What
was...
was up with Kian?
He
We never
was
actually found
a wizard's apprentice and showed much talent to the point where he was beginning to overshadow his mentor. This angered his mentor, and he planned to replace Kian's research with a copy of his own evil necromantic blood magic findings. This took Kian's research, and then he took Kian's research, which was about advanced psionic magic, and got him arrested as well as banished in Yesgate. He faced a trial in front of his peers, and since his mentor was deemed so respectable, he was never questioned. So, the Dragonborn wizard, who was his professor, was named Professor Vanizik Belbor. Celeste's parents were the ones to prosecute Kian, which is why she was going to recognize him.
Wait, who was?
Celeste from the other game. Yeah. So, Kian was banished to the Abyss, where he tried to survive for what felt like eternities. Dehydrated from the heat of the volcanic layer he was on, he had no choice but to drink from the river Styx. The next hour he was drowsy and had no recollection of anything. wandering aimlessly until he found into another layer much like the material plane. This is where he found a rift that sent him back to the actual material plane, where he landed in a forest, an abandoned hollow tree where he found his home and stayed. If you drink from the river Styx, you get amnesia. That's a real thing.
Hi.
Yeah. He made paintings from dreams that he had had, eventually coming across the gem in the woods. And then his whole thing. So yeah. This wizard found out about hemomancy, which was the overseer's blood magic. And yeah, swapped it out with Kian's psionic magic, which was going to be subjugation magic, a whole new class, a whole new school of magic that I was making. And neither became a thing, so I was just like, okay, I'm gonna stop working on that.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Because at one time when we went to that magic school in Tonham, and that person just like freaked out.
Yeah. Because
Kian got put in jail.
Yeah.
Poor Kian is probably still sitting up there.
He's just somewhere. Yeah.
No one was like, oh, we should maybe go find Kian. They were just like, oh, we're finished. Let's.
One of the things that I wrote down, which was so fucking cool, it was one of the last things that Jake said as Giello, was about what he saw on the behind the door. He said maybe it's not a story he's writing, but it's one he's trying to finish. And I fucking loved that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was cool.
That was really cool how you did the behind the door thing.
Funny thing because none of the second players exist. I put that in as a joke.
Oh yeah, I know.
Or that entire door was a joke. It was just there to sidetrack them, and then they were like, "Oh, let's fuck with this door." So I was like, "I'm gonna make it something now."
He was like, oh, I can fuck with them with this.
Yeah,
Easy.
I love it. It's great.
Whatever happened to Gallo?
Gallo is from a different planet that is in the solar system, and he is actually the royal of a part of that planet.
That's so funny.
Exactly.
Because he was like royal bashing the whole time.
So, what was it?
He wakes up and finds that out, and it's just like.
So, where is it? The armor dude that left fire in its wake when you guys were in the tree.
Oh, the one that killed Wakani.
The one that killed Wakani the first time. No, second time.
Second time.
Yeah. Vakoni could understand it, and it was attacking for the crown. And didn't hurt Gallo, was because he was sent by Gallo's parents to try and convince him to come home.
Oh, so Gallo had like run away.
Yeah. Otherwise he would have taken him
completely
and teleported.
Forgotten that he'd run away.
No, he didn't. Okay, so he didn't run away. Where do I have Gallo's thing? Gallo Darkstar. Alright, so he wasn't conceived as normal. His parents did a ritual to try and get back to their home, because they were from they were trapped in some other place and they had to get back to their planet. But the person that was doing the ritual for them did it wrong and separated their child from them. And Gallo's last name is Darkstar, and because he was, what he believed, born under a dark star. The Darkstar thing was it was basically a beacon trying to figure out where he'd gone. For it was his parents trying to find him. So that tiefling that came to you guys in the tree, after so long, had been able to track that beacon to Latov, to where you guys were, and was there to bring him back.
Yeah, inside a magic tree.
Inside a magic tree.
Inside a magic tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the reason his eyes were completely black, they're the only race to have black eyes, as they're the evolved version of fiends with direct links to Acheron, Limbo, and the negative energy plane. So all three of those are different planes that are inherently on the negative side of the weather cosmology. So yeah. Specifically from the negative energy plane is why his eyes were dark. But gee. Which one is it? I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but I don't like this actually. Where's Bad Taria? So if you guys can see stream, the one that's up there at the moment is what Taria looked like when she was fully, I guess, possessed, like under the Merklom's control. She went from a dream druid to druid of spores, which is why Gallo was able to recognize that Sumi had the same kind of magic as Weird Creepy Lady, because she did.
Oh, I thought you were just referring to necromancy this whole time.
Yeah, I just swapped what kind of druid she was. Yeah.
I like the little.
Gee. I needed to put names under all of them, but I didn't. My bad. But yeah, it's just been flipping through all of the icons. Yeah, I don't think there was any other. I mean, there was actually a lot of crosses between Puggle and Gallo. So Finn, who started the campaign with us, he played the little gnome Puggle Pot, and his whole thing was like he came from a long line of gnomes called the Pot family, and they made what was it? They made pots like ceramic and stuff, and when a whole thing in Gallo's backstory was when he was hiding and found Saran and all of their crew, he hid in a ceramic pot shop, and snuck in from there to follow them, and then Saran and all of them found him and took him in to be like a disciple, because he was just a kid. And they're like, we'll teach you to protect yourself, kid. But gee, I don't think there's any other shit that I can think of. So, I guess as a last little thing, I'll read you the... unless there's any other stuff that you guys want to share about your characters or ask anything about the campaign, because then I'll give the final campaign thing.
What happened to Selfie? Because after Selfie left, Niril had actually been collecting little bits of each monster they carved up because she'd seen Selfie doing that, and she was collecting them in a bag to give to Selfie.
I think for a lot of the time, Selfie became a, like, what's the word for it? Became like an underling for Saran, so like helped her with a lot of her teachings and stuff like that. So whenever Saran would have showed up to see you guys, Selfie was probably not far behind. I didn't really get to talk to Sass about what Selfie's end stuff was, because she was meant to be in the fights in the end of the game, but Sass was busy. So yeah, like, whenever Saran comes by to see any of you guys, Selfie was probably there as well. So at any point, you could have passed that on to her. I think out of all of the, all of them, the 2 pop-up characters, yeah, Sumi had more, involvement. Yeah, because after like the pause and Sass coming back, I don't think, yeah, Sass was like busy quite a bit, so never asked her about it. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else? So that you can't think of any other ones to...
What?
Any other stuff about the campaign or moments or anything like that before I give like the final thing? Okay. Then in that case, let's go. Where is it? Okay. So it didn't seem like it, but when all of us began, the majority of you, it was the 15th of Crimson Rule. Winds blowing through purple and blue trees. Waking up with minor injuries, a lot of questions. The time passing, it is when, like, the end of all of this happens and you guys are finally, like, back to normal in the Tov. It is the 1st of Heart Rain. As the trees and grass are now orange, red, and yellow. It didn't seem like 6 and 7 months, but a lot more has happened and a lot less. As Kaz and Olabella would know. As they stand together wandering Mount Celestia in search of their friends, and finding nothing. Worried expression, they tighten their grasp to each other's hands and continue onward. Rippling geometric patterns line the iridescent skies as they wander further and further. In the astral sea, as debris floats aimlessly, so too does the Garmorm. Now satiated, the remnants of blue spines now float here too. The many mouths grin and chuckle. And finally, in a caved-in maze behind a door, locked with thousands, millions of years of blood and dark magic, awaits a being ready to weave its next tale. And I really, really want to thank you guys for playing my game.
It was fun.
You're welcome. I do hope you'll clean your door at some point.
I'll think about it.
Your door.
Oh god, at some point I'll just have to like change my front door and just like put that on there. It'll keep everyone away, it'd be great.
Freak everyone out.
Yeah. Why wait for Halloween?
every
Just
now
make it
and
now.
Every now and then go and buy like a small pot of red paint on your way home and just chuck it on your door on the way
I
past.
have a lot of red paint already. I can do that. But yeah, so I do have a thing to pass on to you guys for this campaign. It's basically just what you guys thought, what you think I could do better for next campaign and stuff like that, as well as a couple of questions for the next campaign.
Next campaign.
But I can at least give you the plot hook, which I think I have, but I'll read it again. So, waking up in a desert plain with howling winds and a strange pointed-eared woman shouting to follow her, isn't how these commoners expected their day to start. Let alone the identity crisis that's to come when the small group find to know nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing at... Hey, what's that in the sky?
An amnesia campaign.
Amnesia campaign. I am slightly worried about how the hell this is going to work. I've been trying to work out the semantics of it, because you guys are literally starting with a blank sheet. And...
Well, when we roll something and it has a number, we can be like, oh no, yep, that's a +2, I guess.
The thing is... Maybe. Unless, probably until a couple, at least like 1 or 2 levels, it'll be very vague on the answers that I give you. So if you roll something and you're like, oh, you rolled really well, you seem to be really good at this. This feels natural. Or, even though you rolled pretty well, it doesn't feel... Oh, yeah. Amnesia spellcasting is going to be a time. But, yeah, that'll come with the session zeros that I do with you guys individually. And we have 4 people that are keen to potentially join us. So what we'll do is our one-shot with the 4 of them. And then afterwards, I'll pull you guys specifically aside. And we'll have a chat about them. And see...
4 others? Or,
yeah, like 4 others. Or...
Oh, no, like, you 2, and then there are 4 other people, but I only want a party of 4.
Oh.
So you 2 are guaranteed players, and I've let them know that, and that there are only 2 potential places left, because I don't feel comfortable running for a bigger party than that. Yeah.
It's about to become D&D fucking Hunger Games of it.
Not quite.
Not quite, but it's amusing to talk about.
But yeah. Also, in the thing that I'll send you guys, is I want to expand on my tarot cards. So, in it, I'll have to talk to you more, Brooke, because you have Olabella and Kaz. So, I want to know what you think your character represents as like as a tarot card. What symbol you think would kind of represent yourself. So, yeah. You can take as long as you want to answer this thing as well. We're not going to be coming back to playing consistently for probably a month-ish. So I'll be doing some setup for the next campaign, as well as just making sure stuff is properly ready, so that I'm not just chucking you guys into I don't know, let's go. But yeah.
Sounds good.
But yeah.
Excited.
Yeah. Although October is next month, and I really want to do a Halloween one-shot, so I'm probably going to rope you all into that. I'll hit you up, though,
Go.
and we'll suss it out, but yeah. Because
Spooky skeletons.
Halloween shit is fun, and I have cool overlays for Halloween. And next campaign, we're going to have a specific D&D overlay for everything, which is going to be fun. Yes, I'm getting that in the works as well. So I think the only stuff that's going to be like kept in the archives for this campaign is going to be...
Preach.
is going to be session notes, player characters, player planning, and the out-of-game RP that I'll chuck into the archives that you guys can see.
Preach.
But yeah.
Preach.
Preach. So...
Preach.
Did you want to do
Preach.
a character
Preach.
tarot card reading after the break? Or did you guys want to
Preach.
leave it there? I don't mind.
Preach.
I think I just leave it there.
Preach.
Fair enough.
Preach.
No idea what to expect from it. Especially, it seems weird sort of doing tarot, which is usually a forecast after the epilogue.
Yeah, that's fair. I just want to use them
Do you
more
want
because
at
they're
the
fun.
start of the
Is
next
it,
campaign?
is it coming back in the next campaign?
Hey, there'll be more cards, so maybe.
Yes, let's go.
I still find it so funny how some of them, like...
Oh, what was mine? Death. I think it was like I wrote like a really detailed session notes on it somewhere.
Yeah, I have a thing for it. You got Mariana, the demigoddess of the waters, the right way up.
Was it because it was like
For your
past,
past.
present, and
Yeah.
future?
Your
yeah.
present was true love, so Alexin, demigoddess of love, the right way up. And your future was Rook, demigoddess of death, but it was reversed.
It's still funny because I feel like it was because I can't remember what Mariana is.
Mariana is your patron.
I know she's my patron, but I don't remember what it meant for like the past
It
in terms of
was
the card.
it was calm, curiosity, freedom, traveling, and adventure.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Adventure, love, death, maybe. It's pretty funny.
But the one that I found the fucking funniest was Raiden's one. With the like his past, he got his father.
Lol.
He got Giovanni, except he got it reversed, which is how his father was in the material world. Which is exactly how Raiden is.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was interesting. The fuck did Vaconia get?
I don't
Oh right, her
remember.
past was her patron, Eagle. The present was the Demi-Aegis. So weakness, fear, violence, abandon, and heartbreak. And then her future was the demigod of creation. So creation, sturdy, precise, resilient, and fortitude.
Mm.
But yeah, anyway. That's it. That's all.
That's it. It's on. We did it.
But yeah, I am probably mostly going to be doing some stuff with the tavern, because I've got the first 3 quests out.
Oh, I haven't even made my character for that.
Yeah. But yeah, those will be cool. And I'm slowly working on other quests as well for like the next develops. But all of that's happening. But yeah. I will let you guys go and have a great rest of your Saturday. I'll keep you guys in the loop about what's happening with the campaign, and I'll flick that thing through to you guys, and player planning.
Yeah.
But
Thank
yeah.
you. I like your campaigns. They're fun.
I'm glad.
Well, I've been into
despite
them
me-
from the start, so I must.
That is true. Thank God there's someone. I'm excited to have 2 players from the start, maybe. Ece, can you put up with me for that long?
Probably, as long as you've got a good story and we're not bogged down in too much high level combat. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. When it gets to high level stuff, I kind of just like, panic, here's the things. Have fun. So I don't know how it's going to go for high level stuff for this. A lot of this is going to be story based, so yeah.
Cool. Then I should be here for all
Much
of it.
for RP.
Mhm.
I make mine have like some Valley Girl voice or some shit.
Did you know Raiden was meant to have an Australian accent, but I couldn't do 2 back-to-back accents, so I just changed his voice.
Lol.
Yeah.
I come from a land down under.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, y'all have a good. Thanks again, and I will catch us around. Have good. Bye.
Bye.
Whoa. Hold up. I have to do this thing now, I think. What happens if I turn this on? What's gonna happen?
Preach.
Things. We're gonna have to put like a thing on the precious. Like a cooldown. God damn it. But yeah. This has been so much fun. I have really loved doing this campaign.
Preach.
Yee. A couple of other ones that I, like... How many other ones did I write down? Yeah. Some of the, like, the really funny notes from, session notes. Sorry, some of the lines from session notes were fucking incredibly funny. A bug treats Nocturne like a baseball. Thanks, Ece. After Kian mentions blowing off one of the skins for the snakes, Amelia charmingly whispers, "Imagine what you could do to people." Waconia gets eaten, and not in the good way. Wink, wink. Thanks, Brooke. Hydra gets 11 heads. If feels bad, man. Kian remembers that holding an action is a thing. 11 heads too late. Would have been more helpful at the start of combat, you fucking dong. Especially since you go after it does. Alas, it is what it is. That was Hayden. Why does Amelia have Revivify when she's the one that dies? Hayden. Oh, it's not actually the nobility's fault. What the fuck you mean, bitch? Thanks, Brooke. Super happy teleporting friends to Murstone. Zoop. Thanks, Ece. On the way to the Overseer, on the way out, the Overseer called Gallo Jake. Meta. The Overseer is Tyler. Literal self-insert. Thanks for noticing, Ece. Finch and Neural take the Deva weapons to the Curators, who cast a spell. Raiden's there too, but being so strong and silent as to be confused with the furniture. I tried with all the notes to see how many times y'all would giggle during the reading. Invisimelia feels the call of the moon. Hello, Were-Tiger? Tiger? I thought we were done with this weird cat shit. Tibbs goes down. Not today, wolf woman. Neural heal. It's so good. I'm gonna turn that down. This is way too... I turned it up. There we go. Good shit. Where would Raiden have disappeared to? Tavern. 3 voices all at once. I'm gonna find anything else to do. I'm anything else. Kaz. We can carry on tomorrow. For now, let's do something normal. Amelia, what's normal for a royal family? Kaz. I'll make tacos. Neural. Damn it, this means I have to talk to him again, doesn't it? Regarding Kaz. There should be coffins free. What the fuck, Vaconia? Amelia. Neural, you have to knock me out. Neural, I've been waiting for this. But yeah. Lots of fun shenanigans, lots of fun shit. So many characters. So many. I never end up using the Twitch chat NPCs. I have to use this character at some point. Tabaxiana, Rodriguez, Martina, Balenciaga, Romanov, Houston, we have a problem. The third. I have to find a way to use her at some point. Her? Yes. Pronouns are yes. So I will make sure to, oh, maybe I'll use them as, in the Halloween one shot. Easy kill-offs. I do have something written for that. Where in the fuck are my one-shots? Wait, what? When did I do this? I apparently have a whole one-shot written. Oh, right, this was the one for Thankmas, but it was meant to be bloody, and then I changed it to be like a Christmas thing. Because I was like, I don't know what to do. Anyway. That's it. That's all. The one thing I do want to give a proper preach to is to the icons. Icons. There we go. So when it gets back to Taria, I'll just tell you. But yeah. I don't remember who I made the Davers through, actually. I know it says on there, I'll find it. Gotta give the precious properly. It's important. But I have more emotes coming. I also have more. Oh, I have new I have new profile icons coming as well. They are finished. I just have to do the last a little bit of PML, and then it'll be mine. Where did I put this? What the fuck, dude? Here it is. Does it say Beidus? Yeah, Beidus. There we go. I'll quickly search it up before it loops back. There we go. I can at least do that. Okay, cool. So this is the person that I used to make the Dava. The Davas with. Their picker is really cool. So that is Bad Taria, made by Nebulous Kiwi, with little spores and stuff. That is Normal Taria, made by Nebulous Kiwi again. You'll be able to tell through the art style because I've got the backgrounds. That is Viconia, how she ended. She was not actually always a tiefling. She was a Shadowkai, which is that one. So that's how Viconia started off. She was a Shadowkai. That's Saran, a game made by Nebulous Kiwi. I love how that one turned out. Saran is so fucking cool. Evil Taria again. I guess I didn't put... I did it twice? I don't fucking know. it's weird. I don't know what I do. That's Raiden, made through Maria Blow's Pickeroo. That is Finch, made by Maria Blow's Pickeroo. Oh, I think it's D&D. That is Imperial Curator Pharaoh. Did I put my own thing in wrong? So that's Baidu's Pickeroo. And that is the Deva of Light Zoya. That is the Deva of Earth, Othin. That is the Deva of the Seas, Thakel. That is the Deva of the Dark. Oh, sorry, the Deva of the Dark, that's Thakel. The other one, Deva of the Seas, is Kevin. That is Tabaxi Amelia. There we go, capital E apparently. Why are you not working? That's normal Amelia. Mubot, are you calling me a fucking liar? That's Imperial Curator Voden. That is Kian, made by Wolfloud. Did I turn off icons? I turned off icons. Fucking why? That is Lordak, Wild Leader. That is Nerol Alot. Here we go. That is Custodian Sumi. Made by Anubulus Kiwi. That is Puggle Pot, who was from the very beginning played by Finn. That is Selfie Valen, who was played by Sass, a pop-up character. That is Silarus, the wizard dude from the Royal Shift. That was way too bright. And then we're back to the start. But had to push the icons because I got Nibius Kiwi to do pretty much all of them. So that was a hella good time. Super talented artists. Please, please, please check them out. I am going to quickly find a thing to give to my players. But that is going to be the end from me. There will still be a stream on Saturdays. It'll be just general D&D stuff, working on the next planet, so there'll be more stuff on that. I am looking to do more collaborative stuff as well. I think it'll be fun. In the same vein, I saw a character with an alignment hungry earlier today. God, that's a mood. Sorry, I only just read that. But yeah. So there'll be more stuff like that in the future, but for the time being, all of the episodes are on YouTube. I just have to upload the last two and this one, and then from there all of it will be uploaded. If you want some D&D and you want to dodge in the hearts, and you want your D&D fix to either play or learn how to play, then please feel free to hit me up about the Wandering Traveller Inn. Anyone and everyone is more than welcome to come and join in. Yeah, it is a good. See you then, love. Thank you. I might flick your message actually. Kill me. Oh no, it's 8:30. Why does it have to be late? I'll flick your message anyway. We'll see. I still have to go and have dinner and then do this other thing. But before I ramble for the next eternity, I'm going to switch this out and leave it at that. Thank you guys for being in and watching my campaign. This is the second one that I've written, like, from nothing, with a lot of homebrew stuff. Definitely another passion project with a lot of references to campaign 1. The third campaign does have a lot of references to campaign 1 as well. I'm trying to work out a couple to link to here as well, but we shall see. So again, thank you, big preachers. Hope everyone has a great rest of their night, and I will see y'all tomorrow for some collaborative gaming. We'll see what we're gonna play. Fuck it, we might just do some Minecraft. Hell yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, catch y'all later. Bye.